Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you stopped by today. We're going to talk about guitars. Glad you could be here in my guitar dungeon. We've got a few interesting things around. And what I want to do is, in thinking about teaching people guitar, I've noticed that most guitar players have a guilty conscience. And what the guilty conscience comes from is they're having more fun than they think they should be allowed to, just by how much they know or don't know. And all of a sudden you're playing in front of people and they're enjoying it. In the back of your mind there's a little voice going, man, I'm having fun, I'm making music, it's good, but I don't really know how or why this stuff fits together. Now you may be wondering, who am I to be telling you how to play guitar? Well, let me give you a little background. I went to one music theory class. Now, like I said, I had a background of playing guitar, making money with it, having a good time with it, being in several bands, all that. Even with all that, I went to this music theory class, and the guy's talking blah, 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 blah. I mean, he might have been talking Greek as far as I knew. But he says, okay, what I'd like you to do, just to see where everybody's coming from, is to write each of the major scales. But, good grief, I didn't have a concept of what a scale was. So I wrote out a C scale, left the rest of the page blank, and immediately went to the administration office and changed to English literature. And I've spent the next several decades trying to make up for what I didn't know in those first classes. And I think I have some stuff that'll be able to help you out. The guy who probably did the best job of documenting the whole fingerstyle playing thing is Giuliani, an Italian guitarist who lived in the mid-1800s. And he must have been quite a player and teacher. He was a touring guitarist over much of Europe and really had quite an impact and has left us a nice body of music as well as didactic or teaching material. Now, why do we want to play with our fingers? Why do we want to do this? Well, if we're in the sound business, this is a sound and this is a sound. And both those things are made up of the same notes, essentially. But it's almost like this is like a big pool of clay that's just laying there, but we can kind of sort it out and begin to form it in something if we use our fingers to dissect the individual notes. So that's why fingerstyle playing seems to have a little more of a openness to it, or more possibility for melodic ideas, that sort of thing. Mr. Giuliani in his exercises went between two chords, a C and a G7. And he played his G7 in kind of a funny little way. Index finger on the first fret of the first string, little finger on the third fret of the second string, and he's catching a B note on the second fret of the A string. So he used that C and the G7. Now you may think, well, why can't I just hang on one chord? You can, but if there's anybody in your dwelling place other than just you, they will be ready to strangle you in about 5 minutes if you just stay on one chord. Index finger is going to play the second string, and your middle finger is going to play the high string. Your thumb is going to go like this, from the A string to the D to the G and back. Simply going to go like this. Now what we're doing here, though, is we want to have equal power with all three strings, so we have three equal portions of the notes being heard at the same time. Equal portions of each note. Let's try this together. Grab your C chord, and we're going to go pinch, 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 pinch. Let's change that G7 chord. Back to C. Now, another style of playing that's very American is Travis picking. This kind of was popularized by a fellow named Merrill Travis, who was from Muhlenberg County in Kentucky. So where we want to start with Travis picking is, let's just get your thumb working. We're going to grab a G chord, and notice how I'm holding the G chord. It's a little different than normal. I'm using my little finger on the third fret of the first string, my third finger, third fret of the sixth string, and my second finger on the second fret of the A string. Here's the picking style. Get your fingers in this shape here, and then we want to get our thumb bouncing first, and that simply means this is what we're building on. And this type of Travis picking is also referred to at times as thumb picking, for the obvious reason. Okay, you do this for about 6 weeks. You don't bathe, you don't eat, you don't sleep, and if you do that for about 24/7, 6 weeks, you'll have it. for life. You won't have any friends. You won't have any relationships. Your dog would have left and your goldfish died. But at least you know how to do this. Okay, so after you got that down, then we're going to add something to it. We're going to add a little pinch here like this. On that one beat, one. Good. Okay? Seems goofy. Keep working on it. But then we're going to bring in another finger. We're going to go pinch. After our thumb, we're going to bring our index finger to play. So I'm changing the chords. So then you'll be able to take that little thumb thing and speed it up like this. Work on that, get it smooth, and experiment around. Okay, let's listen for a second.